Hi everyone, this is Phil Travis here at the State College of Florida, EUH 1000. It is week 6. This week we are reading from our textbook, our Colon Science Western Civ textbook. We are reading chapter 7, and we're going to be reading chapter 7 for the this week and the next week. And I'll have some primary source stuff for you next week, I think, to kind of enhance what we're reading. We are going to be reading the sections from chapter 7 that relate to Islam, the emergence of Islam. We also have a presentation this week on Islam from myself. So there's a quiz this week, and the quiz comes directly from the class presentation. So I want you to watch the presentation. While you watch the presentation, take the quiz. The questions all pop up more or less in order. So we have a quiz on the birth of Islam this week based on the class presentation. We also have our paper due this week. So the paper is due this week. Technically, you have the option to do a second paper. So if you decide not to do this paper, you have one more shot to do a paper. Or if you do this paper and you do the second paper later in the term, I will drop the lowest grade. I do recommend everybody do this first paper. That way you get it out of the way and you don't have to worry about it. But if it's really busy time for you right now and you can't do it, then make sure you do the second one. Whatever you do, make sure you don't not do a paper in this class. But the paper is due this week. If you didn't review the paper writing guidelines and the video, the how-to video that I have up, that's all in modules for last week and week 5, so you can still see that and you can go back there and check that out. So do that. Make sure you are following the directions for these papers. I want you to use 3 different academic sources. Your textbook can be one source, but I'm particularly looking for historical monographs, academic journals. I do not want .com websites. Okay, and when you cite something, if you were to use a source from online, just putting the URL in there is not a citation. Okay, I want author, title, publishing information, and all that stuff is discussed in the video for this week. You can just use parenthetical, or the video from last week on paper writing, and you can just use parenthetical citations. But make sure you cite thoroughly, use your own words, and make a historical argument. Don't summarize. Don't just give me the factual summary. That's not what I want. I want you to do a little research on a topic that interests you and make an argument. Okay, what does it mean to us today? Why should I read this? Why should I care about this? Why does this matter for us today? So make a historical argument. If you want to talk about ancient Greece, that's great. But choose one specific aspect, maybe democracy in Athens, and make an argument about that. Okay, so I think that's it. We have our quiz on the presentation. We have our paper due. Short paper, 600 to 700 words, typed double-spaced. Not a big deal. That paper's due by Sunday at midnight, along with the quiz and our usual discussion forum. I've shortened the kind of questions on the discussion forum because I know you have the quiz and you also have the paper this week. So I've kind of lightened the load a little bit with respect to the discussion forum for this week. Okay, so factoid, extra credit factoid for this week is this. The extra credit factoid, email me no later than midnight on Wednesday to get your extra point added to a test score at the end of the term. The extra credit factoid for this week is this. Even though today, Christians and Muslims are sometimes at odds, the reality is the historical development of Christianity and Islam were very sort of, their origin is sort of interrelated. Muhammad received visions from the angel Gabriel, the same angel from the New Testament. Muhammad also regarded Jesus as a prophet of God. Now, Muhammad felt that Jesus was not quite as important as himself because he viewed himself as the last prophet of God. But Jesus was nonetheless considered a highly significant prophet of God. From Muhammad's perspective, the same God that Muhammad was a prophet of. And so the factoid for this week is that Muhammad regarded Jesus as a prophet of God, just not the last prophet of God. He believed himself to be the last prophet of God. So Christianity and Islam, in their historical development, were actually, quite connected, at least from the standpoint of the outlook of the prophet Muhammad. All right, guys, let's have a great week. Let me know if you have any questions.